Well, hey everybody, welcome back to It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Today we are making homemade tomato soup. Cue the music. Well, hey everybody, I am Chef John Politte and you are watching It's Only Food. If this is your first time watching this channel, or if you just want to learn how to continue to make awesome food, or maybe even learn how to start your own cooking channel right here on YouTube, then do yourself a favor and click on that little subscribe button in the corner and then hit that little notification bell to be notified each and every time I upload new content. Alright, well, you clicked on this video to watch me show you how to make homemade tomato soup. So let's head into the kitchen and see what our ingredients are. We of course have our celery, onions, carrots for our standard mirepoix. We're going to include some garlic in that. Then we're going to cook some bacon off. Then we're going to have our chicken stock, our butter, and our flour to make a roux. Then we have our tomato paste and our pint of plum tomatoes. And then we're going to add peppercorns, thyme, parsley, and a bay leaf into this mixture to make a nice soup. Then we're going to strain it after we thicken it to get all that out. So let's head into the kitchen and start getting this going. All right, first thing I want to do is I want to cut up the bacon, so I can render it in the pan before we add our mirepoix. So I'm just going to slice this up, and we're just going to cut up our mirepoix, which is our onions, celery, and carrots. I will leave a card right here. I did a whole show on how to make a mirepoix and what a mirepoix is, so feel free to click on that video. Here we have our standard mirepoix: celery, onions, carrots, and our garlic right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw all of these ingredients into the rendering bacon and let this all sweat together to add and build some flavor to this soup. Alright, well, this bacon needed a little bit more fat into it because it just didn't seem to be rendering a lot of fat. So as you see it cooking there, I added about a half a stick of butter. Now what I'm going to do is add our mirepoix, our carrots, celery, and onions into here. Well, we are just going to let this sweat down until the carrots and the sugars of the onions start to caramelize and come out, and we're going to build some flavor with that before we add our tomatoes. Okay, this is sweating nicely. We're getting a little bit of color onto the vegetables now, and of course the bacon will cook as it goes too. Now I might tell you though, we're not going to leave all this stuff in the soup. Once we get the soup made with our seasonings and our tomatoes and all that, I'm going to strain everything through a sieve to get the end result of the soup. All of this is just flavor that we're adding right now. Meanwhile, I've got our butter going over there for our roux. We're going to add some flour to that. Once it's melted, we're going to make just a blonde roux to thicken up the soup that we're making. All right, I'm getting some color on some of these vegetables. You can see that bottom of the pan is getting dark as well. The rich smell coming off this pan is just incredible. The onions are translucent, the carrots are soft. Right now I'm going to add all the seasonings that we had, the thyme, the fresh parsley, the peppercorns, the bay leaves in there. And then I'm going to add the tomatoes in there as well. And I'm still going to let this render down and let all these flavors get to know each other until those tomatoes burst open and release their flavor, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, tomatoes are in, they're starting to soften up just a little bit. Right now though, I want to add, well, first of all, you can see the bottom of that pan and how all the caramelization of these vegetables have turned the bottom of the pan brown. What I'm going to do now is hit it with a little chicken stock. I want to turn the heat up on high a little bit. And what that's going to do is we're going to be able to scrape all those little bits off the bottom of the pan, and the stock will release its flavor as well, and then I'm going to cover it up and let all these tomatoes boil in there with that stock. This will add our savory base to the soup. All right, I'm going to cover this up, bring all this to a boil, and then let it simmer. All right. We have got this to a boil. All the flavors are coming up off that bottom of the pan. I'm going to turn this down to a simmer. We're just going to let those tomatoes cook. All right, as you can see, most of these tomatoes have burst and imparted their flavor into this savory, rich broth that we've got for our foundation for this soup. So what I'm going to do now is I am just going to add our tomato paste into here. Water in there. Scrape that out. Never waste a cent. Just stir this up. Now I'm just going to make sure that I've got my heat on medium because I don't want red splattering all over my nice white appliance. I'm going to add a little bit more water. I'm going to bring this up to a temperature adequate enough for the blonde roux that I've made to cook into there and thicken. But I don't want to get it too high, like I said, because I do have white appliances and I don't want to be cleaning up later. So I'm going to bring this up slowly to temp, and then we'll add our roux. Alright, we can see the bubbles coming up. I've stirred this for about 5 minutes, but the bubbles are in here now. It looks like a minestrone to me without the pasta in it. I'm turning the heat back down. I'm not going to add all the roux that I made because I think this soup is quite thick as it is. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that roux. I don't want it too thick or it won't get through my sieve. So I'm just going to tighten this all up. Let this roux cook into the soup to let this get to the desired thickness and viscosity. And what I plan on doing is taking this soup right here and going into this sieve. In the bottom pan we'll have a nice skimmed and strained soup that I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream to, I think. Alright, so when we get back, after I have strained this into our strainer and adjusted the seasonings, I'm going to go ahead and plate this up, take some really good photographs for it for social media, and then I'm going to find some groovy music to lay underneath those pictures on the timeline, and we will come back and give this a taste. Okay, well there is our soup. I of course made a grilled cheese to go with that, and I just topped it with a little heavy cream in there just to make it a cream of tomato soup. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera on a tripod, and then we're going to try this out. Alright, well here's that soup. That's a beautiful soup right there. I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. Wow, this is like nothing I've ever had before. This is, you can taste, you just set that down. Wow, this is better than anything I had when I was a kid. Grilled cheese and tomato soup, that has got fantastic flavor. That base we made was so savory with all those aromatics in there and the mirepoix, that chicken stock, cooking those tomatoes, adding the paste, it all comes together so well. And of course, it pairs so well with an American grilled cheese. All right, well, thanks so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to go down to my description box and check out all those awesome links that I've got down there. I've got one for my seasoning. I have an Etsy store where I sell all my wonderful gourmet seasonings. And then also make sure you stalk me on social media. All those links are also provided down in the description box. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and like this video. Leave all your comments right down below. And then make sure you share this video with everybody that you know. Take care, and we'll see you again right here on It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Bye-bye.